A winning mindset, your mind's strongest weapon. A winning mindset is one of those trainings that a lot of people don't think that they need. They think my mindset is fine, everything's great, I'm motivated, I'm excited, and once they get going on things, after a while, this is one of those trainings that's really easy to position, because your winning mindset is your strongest weapon. It's one of the most powerful weapons that you can have in your arsenal to reaching the success that you're looking for. Let me ask you a question. Does every direction that you look seem to point to failure? Everywhere you look, everything that you touch, everything that you do, it just seems to fail on you. If so, this is one of those trainings that I believe is really going to hopefully wake you up. Another question that I've got for you is, what's in your mirror? When you look in the mirror, every time you look, you step up in front of that mirror, what do you actually see? And something else that I want you to think about is, what kind of words do you hear yourself saying? Is this what you look in the mirror? When you look in the mirror, is this what you see? Do you see yourself as maybe gray-haired, aged? What have I done with my life, up to this point? I've reached this age, and, what do I have to be, to show for it? This guy here really doesn't look like he's really satisfied with what he's seeing when he's looking in that mirror. Maybe it's like this young guy, this guy, he's not gray-haired, he's not old, he's young, but, what's he seeing in there? Is he already looking at that dead-end job that he's at? What's he seeing? Maybe a lost relationship, whatever that's failed him. Regardless of what it is, he's looking in that mirror and he's not liking what he's seeing at the moment. Now, unlike this young man who's, he's got that suit on, he's ready to go, he's excited. He's probably looking forward to that day. Maybe he's got a hot date right now, or he's heading off to a job that he absolutely loves, but he's on top of the world, he's excited. What is it that you see when you look in the mirror? Are the words? What do you think the words are that these people are saying to themselves? What do you catch yourself saying when you look into the mirror? What do you see in your mirror? What do you see? Every imperfection, worry, or failure? Or do you see your greatness? We were all created in greatness. We were created to do amazing things. But every time we look at ourselves, we see the imperfections. We see the things that we're worrying about. We see the failure that's on our face. Everything that, all of these negativities that lead to failure, and to not reaching that success that we so much desire, are the things that seem to be overpowering. They seem to take away from that greatness that we were created to have. Now, what do you hear yourself say? I asked you this here a few minutes ago, but do you hear yourself saying things that berate yourself with comments like, man, I am overweight, I'm getting old, or do you stand tall when you look inside a mirror and say, man, I look great, I look awesome? What are those things that you hear yourself say? I want you to really be conscious of this the next time that you take a look into the mirror, and really listen to what that inner voice is saying. A lot of the times we look into the mirror and we find ourselves criticizing the way that we look. We criticize ourselves and look at ourselves as failure. And a lot of times that's because of the people that are in our lives and what they project on us, the negativity that they project into our life as well. A mirror reflects more than just what your eyes see. A mirror really reflects your inner thoughts and your beliefs. It's a reflection into your very soul. So the next time you look into the mirror, I want you to really pay attention, because it really is going to reflect your inner thoughts. Listen to those inner thoughts. What are those beliefs? Really pay attention to what you're saying and what you're hearing. I challenge you the next time you're in front of a mirror to listen to the voice inside and what it is saying. I think that you're probably going to be surprised. Most people don't even stop and think about what they're saying to themselves. I want you to do this. I want you to really be conscious about this. Make a conscious effort to listen to what you're saying about yourself. I really, really think that a lot of you are going to be very surprised at what you hear. Another simple question that I need an answer to is, do you expect to win or lose? Simple question, and your answer is, think about that for a second. Do you really expect to win or lose? The language of many suggests that when faced with an opportunity of any description, they don't even expect to win. Therefore, by default, they're setting themselves up to lose. Here's an example of what I'm trying to say here. This is something that somebody says. Well, the last thing I didn't get me any results, so I am hoping that I'm not getting myself into the same situation. So, maybe you bought a product online or whatever that you were trying to use to make money online, and you used it, you didn't get any kind of results. You had a bad experience. Now you've bought something else, and what you're saying to yourself is, I'm hoping that I'm not getting myself into the same situation as I did last time. I'm hoping that this is going to be different results. What you're doing is you're not really expecting anything different from what happened last time. Therefore, by default, you're setting yourself up to lose. Go into the next situation expecting to win. So what? You had a bad experience last time. You learned from it. You grew from it. Whatever. Go forward and expect a different result. Expect to, maybe it takes you working harder. Maybe it's going to be with a different product owner, or a whole completely different people that are involved in the situation and stuff. So don't go on your past experiences. Really take a look at that brand new day, the brand new situation, as that brand new starting point for you. How is it that your words get assembled in the first place? First of all, they have to be thought. Either consciously or subconsciously, your words, get assembled by first thinking about them. The language you speak is simply a manifestation of the way your mind thinks and the belief system that it has. So we start thinking these words either consciously or subconsciously, and then the language that comes out is manifested by the way that your mind is thinking and the belief system that it has. So really be careful, about the thoughts that are going on inside of your head. Either consciously you're thinking these things, or subconsciously and you're not even realizing it. A lot of it is just from over the years. It's just ingrained, the way that we think in the belief system. So it's going to be hard for some of you to change. What is your language? Is it positive or is it negative? The language that you hear, is it positive or is it negative? If it's negative, we've got to get rid of it, and it's sometimes that's a little bit of a challenge. Maybe it's not even just your language; it's other people's language that you're hearing. But wherever the negativity is coming from, we've got to get rid of that out of our life, and we've got to especially get rid of it out of our own language. When you're standing in front of that mirror and you hear nothing coming back except negativity, there's a problem there. The success formula: millionaire coach times proven system equals success. It's not enough to make money even if you have the best millionaire coach and are following his proven system. You can have the best coach out there. You can be following a very proven system that no matter how hard you try, it's not going to fail. This does not mean that you're going to start making money. Just because you're following this great coach and his proven system. It takes more than that. Unless you understand it and have confidence in it, and confidence in yourself and the same winning mindset as your millionaire coach, you will never win. So the system, you've got to have confidence in the system. You've got to be able to understand it. You have to have confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to make it happen. You've got to have that same winning mindset as your millionaire coach. He got to be that millionaire. She got to be that millionaire because of the mindset that they have. They've got a different kind of mindset than most people. Either they worked hard at it, they were born with it, whatever you want to say, but they've got a different mindset. They understand it. You're never going to win unless you can find yourself into that same position. You can follow $1 million guru and his best proven system and still continue to come out on the losing end. Your mind traffic or your mindset, I call it the mind traffic because we got a lot of things going on stairs. It's just like a busy highway. Things are just coming and going in and out of our mind all the time. But your mind traffic is going to determine what direction you see more clearly. Either you're going to see success or you're going to see failure. First of all, I want you to think of some things here. Now, what is your financial goal? I want you to think about that for just a second. What is your financial goal? And a lot of the times this is what the answer is. Did you answer with secure? Did you answer with comfortable? Or did you answer with rich? Think about those things, those words that I just described there for a second. What is your financial goal? Is your financial goal to be secure, where you think it's like, I'm set, I'm okay, things are, I've got things, my kids' college taken care of and stuff. I think I can retire. Is it to be comfortable, where you're just kind of getting by day by day? The bills are paid. You don't got people knocking on, you're calling on your phone, knocking on your door, asking you to pay these bills. You're comfortable. Things, maybe it's paycheck to paycheck, but bills are getting paid. Or are you just plain wanting to be rich, where you know that you've got money all the time for no matter what, you can do a lot of extra things. What is it that your financial goal is? It's very important to have, so that you understand this. Bear in mind that a goal is different from a wish. We can wish to be secure, comfortable, or rich all we want, but we've got to have certain goals in place, describing how we're going to reach each one of these different aspects of our life. If it's security, we've got to have a goal set in place that we can follow, and have patterns set up that we can follow, that we're able to use and to reach our goals, and to be able to see that we're actually reaching these goals. You may wish to be rich, but that doesn't mean that you've ever taken any practical steps to make it come true. So just because we all have those dreams. We're all like, man, I would love to be filthy rich. I would love to, just make so much money that I never had another worry. But that doesn't mean we're going to make it there. That doesn't mean we're ever going to take any practical steps to make it come true. If you want to get there, you've got to have some practical steps set in place, and you've got to take action on those. If you've ever earned enough money to put some aside, like most people, you've probably invested it with the eye towards security, since you can't imagine yourself ever getting rich. Most people, if you ask them, they're saying, I'll probably never be rich. It's not meant for me. That's for other people. I would just like to be able to be secure. If you've ever earned enough money to put some aside, like most people, you've probably invested it with that eye towards security. And that's fine. But if you really want to be rich, you can be. You just have got to have the proper mindset for it. Robert Kiyosaki says, my rich dad said, all of us have the power of choice. I choose to be rich, and I make that choice every day. So if that's something that we choose, we're going to have to, we've got to choose that in our mind. We have to wake up to the fact that I want to be rich. And when I wake up in the morning, I choose to be rich. I choose to take action to make this happen for me. We have to make this choice every single day of our life. Being wealthy is a mindset. Money is a critical part of wealth, and anyone who tells you it isn't just doesn't have any, period. A lot of people, you'll go up to them and talk to them about money, and they were like, I don't need it. It's not really that important to me. If people are telling you that that they just don't care about money, they just don't have any, period. Important as it is, though, it's only part of the wealth, and deep down inside, you know this, or at least suspect this is true. So, we look at money as wealth, but there's more to it than that. It's more than just having money. If all it takes to be wealthy is money, then ask yourself this: why is it that lottery winners almost always end up right back where they started? If you take an average person that wins a lottery, let's say they were barely living paycheck to paycheck. They won $1 million. It's not very long before they find themselves right back at that same place of living paycheck to paycheck. Why isn't it? Because they don't understand the whole equation. They didn't understand how to invest with that money. They didn't have the right mindset to to own that much money. So they ended up right back at the same place because they managed things the same way they always had. Being wealthy is a mindset, and it includes creating wealth in your finances as well as in the four other major areas of your life, and we'll discuss those in a minute. But being wealthy is a mindset. It's not just having money, it's about having the proper mindset to go along with it, to be able to handle it. Our thoughts drive our behaviors. Now, if you're thinking that you want to start down the path to financial freedom, there's something that needs to happen first. You must first understand how the rich think about money. And understand this, rich people think about money differently than poor people do, and how it differs from the poor and middle class way of thinking. Regardless of how much money you make, you will end up right back where you started if you don't change your thoughts about the money. And that's why those that win lotteries end up right back to the same place. They didn't change their thoughts about the money. They ended up, maybe they, were living paycheck to paycheck. They had a lot of bills overdue. They won all this money, and the first thing they did was think, I'm going to get out of debt now. I'm going to pay off all of these bills. I'm just going to get rid of all these bills. And pretty soon instead of investing it properly, they ended up doing the same thing with it that they did with the money that they had before. They paid off bills with it. They found themselves spending it, money on things that they really didn't need, and developing more bills and more debt and stuff, and then they were paying that off, and they didn't understand how to handle it properly. You need to change your habits. If you want to start down that path of financial freedom and actually get there, you've got to change your habits. Don't let the old habits get the best of you and your finances. How you handle your finances when you're poor, if you don't change those habits, you're going to handle money when you have it the same exact way, and you're never going to be able to reach that place of financial freedom that you're looking for. I'm not interested in money. What this really means is you're not interested in making the life-transforming changes necessary to pull up your stubborn roots to move beyond job security and toward financial freedom. How many times has anybody, came up to you and said, how would you like to, just be rich? Well, your mind can't conceive that part because it's never been there before. And you say, that's not what life is all about. Life is not just about money, which it isn't. There's so much more involved in it. But what you're really saying, you're finding the first excuse that comes to your head. What you're really saying is that, I don't believe that I'm going to ever get there, and I'm not willing to make life-transforming changes necessary to help me get to that place. So what's going to happen is you're just going to continue to make those excuses, and you're not going to ever reach that financial freedom. You need to think it. I'm telling you, if you want to get that financial freedom, you need to start thinking it. You need to start learning it. So basically, you have to start getting that right mindset. You have to start learning how to handle your finances and how to get to that place, and you need to do it. Once you have those goals set in place, you've got to learn, basically learn it, think it, and then you've got to take action on them and actually make some things happen. Your goals, remember, are set up with action steps. That's called doing it. Action steps require action. So how to achieve your financial goals? You need to understand the difference between these. First of all, you need to understand the difference between job security, financial security, and financial freedom. And I want to stop and think about that a second. What do those three things mean to you? What does job security mean to you? What does financial security mean to you? What is financial freedom? Well, first of all, job security is when, basically when you've got that job, you're going there every single day, you've been going there for years, whatever, you're maybe living paycheck to paycheck, but the bills are paid, maybe sometimes a few of them are late, but you feel that job is secure, it's not really going anywhere. Financial security is basically where it's a step farther than the job security, not much difference, but a little bit different in the fact that, you feel that you're probably set for retirement. Maybe you're not going to be living high, but you'll make it. Your kids can go to college. Things are set in place for the future for you that you feel. Now, financial freedom is basically where you are just plain set, and no matter what happens, you know that you're going to be able to generate the income that you need to live. You don't have to worry about things. You're doing always, you can do the extra things. You're taking vacations, whatever. You know that you're never going to have another worry again. Now, there's a difference between the three of them. The first two, you're not in charge of those. Somebody could come along and yank those out from underneath you at any time. The difference with financial freedom is that, yes, you can still lose it. You can lose everything you got, but you have the know-how, and you know how to build yourself right back up again to that same place. So even if somebody come along and wiped you totally out, you know that you can build yourself back up and do it again. That's called financial freedom. Now, how many people believe that job security means financial security? A lot of people believe that. But do they still believe this after they lose their jobs and can't find a new one? They thought their job was secure for life, and all of a sudden it was ripped out right out from underneath them. Do they still believe in job security? Probably not, my guess. Now, before you change your life, you need to change your mind. If you've even have the slightest hope of actual financial freedom, then you have to understand that self-awareness is critical. You have got to become aware of your mindset right now, that current mindset. You've got to become aware of it before you can begin to change it. You have to be aware of everything that is going on in your mind and into your mind. So you've got to be very conscious about listening to what's going on inside of your head. You've got to be very conscious and paying attention to what other people are putting into your mind. The things that are here that you're hearing, those that you're hanging around. What are they saying? What is their life? Is their life filled with negativity? You've got to distance yourself from that. You've got to be aware of everything that's going on inside and into your mind. Now, this takes work on your part because your thoughts and beliefs are deeply ingrained to the point that you may not even be aware of how much they've shaped your financial woes. Most people are not even aware that they have a mindset problem. And this goes back when you're trying to sell a mindset course to somebody that is, just bought a product or whatever, it's not going to be their first product that they buy unless they're, aware of what their mindset is. Most people are going to go, I don't need a mindset course. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to really pound this thing and make some money here. And pretty soon, 2 or 3 weeks later, and they're not getting any results, and they're like, wow, man, I didn't realize how much time this is going to take. Or life just begins to happen around them, and the time that they thought they were going to have, isn't there. They forgot their kids, that, wow, I still got kids. But they were all excited when they were reading that sales page. They were ready to go. They were pumped. And all of a sudden, everything is just like back to where it was before. And, that's not going to be a good place. It's going to take work on your part to be able to make this work. If you want to change your mindset, it's going to take some hard work on your part. We're giving our mind traffic or mind chatter a great deal of power. Our thoughts, just like the picture has it, our thoughts have power. We have many different voices in our head, and they have a lot in common. All of this traffic tends to shout at us rather than speak words that are calming to us. We've got that's why I call it mind traffic. We got all this stuff just going every single, tons of different directions inside of our head. It's all sorts of different voices. Maybe some of it's good, some of it's, negativity, but everything's just kind of going there. And a lot of times it's giving us bad advice. A lot of times we start doing something and we all of a sudden hear ourselves going, remember the last time you tried this? It didn't really work very good for you, did it? It's probably not going to work this time either. Maybe you ought to just kind of rethink this again, So it starts giving us bad advice, and a lot of times it's because we are going off past experience. Those past experience, our mind starts building up defenses to protect us. Now, sometimes all the voices want to talk at the same time, and that's where confusion comes in. Where you're trying one thing and you hear this other voice, and then you hear another voice over here, and then there's another one going on here, and pretty soon you're just like, oh, I can't take this anymore, and you just stop and you just give up. We've got to overcome this. We're giving our mind a great deal of power. We've got to reclaim this power that our mind is taking over. We become paralyzed by our self-consciousness like a deer in the headlights of an oncoming car. You've seen that deer out there in the road when you're all of a sudden it hits those lights and it just kind of freezes. It's like, whoa, you know, and that's what's happening to us. We become paralyzed by our self-consciousness. You know, all those thoughts running through our head and stuff, and pretty soon we're just like stopped there. We don't know what way to turn. We don't know what way to, you know, what we should be doing next, and we're just frozen there. And, you know, we find ourselves just, you know, eventually just quitting. You know, like that deer, it's frozen there, and pretty soon, you know, it's hit by that oncoming car because it didn't know which direction to turn. It was just frightened. What we become is determined by the thought forms we surround ourselves with. Negative mind chatter is a filter that ensures that events, conditions, etc. will perpetuate our negative emotions. We've been talking about this. You know, those, when we put negative thoughts into our mind, or if our mind is already filled with these negative thoughts, when we go start up new events or new conditions or whatever, come on, our mind begins to start protecting us, and it starts bringing out all the negativity of our past experiences. And, you know, it just continues this, you know, perpetuating this negative emotions and stuff that's going on. So, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we hear ourselves saying, remember what happened last time, and then we're like, yeah, that's right, man, I forget it, you know, I'm just not going to try this time. And it just, this kind of process, just this pattern just keeps repeating itself over and over and over. It never ends unless we're able to get rid of the negative mind chatter and replace it with strong positive. Now, just the opposite will happen if we focus our thoughts on joy, happiness, or courage. You know, if we're thinking about those fears, we're dwelling on the negativity of fear, you know, we're never going to get anywhere. But if we start thinking about facing that fear, beating that fear, you know, getting that courage and stuff, we start thinking of what our life is going to be like when we reach that financial security, financial freedom and stuff. We start thinking about the joy that we're going to have, the happiness in our family and our life, you know, our happiness and our spirituality and stuff. We start focusing, if we focus our thoughts on the good things, you know, the opposite is going to happen. When we start taking on a new situation, our mind's going to try to remind us of that negative. We're going to say, no, that's in the past. That happened this time. You know, this is going to be different. You know, and this time, you know, when I make it happen, you know, the financial freedom that I'm going to face, you know, the vacations that I'm going to be taking, you know, how my family's going to feel about me and stuff. Those kind of good thoughts start overtaking, and overpowering that negativity that's been going on in our life. This type of mind chatter will start giving you the power you need to live the life of success and happiness that you deserve to live. And I want you to really want to drive that last part home there. You deserve to live in. You deserve it. Too many people do not feel that they even deserve that kind of life. You know, they feel that, you know, this is just who I am. This is who I was meant to be, so I'm just going to have to live with it. That's hogwash. You deserve to live in financial freedom. You deserve to live in that power. You deserve to live in that greatness that you were created to live in. We're having conversations in our heads all the time. We've got to stop avoiding or accepting the negative voice in your head. What we think we will become. If you continue with the negativity, that's what your life is going to be, you know, centered around, is negativity. When other people are positive, you're going to be trying to feed them with negative thoughts. Your mind's going to always be being fed with it. Now, in the absence of other information, our mind sometimes fills themselves with worries, doubts, or fears, and our minds are constantly looking for the worst case scenario. And you know this to be true. You know, if in the absence of information in our minds, if we don't understand something, you know, our mind starts taking over, and it begins to start filling up with worries, doubts that I'm going to be able to do it, fears of what could happen or whatever. You know, it's, you know, a lot of people are even, they have that fear of success. It's like, wow, what would happen if I actually did become successful? You know, would I be able to handle it? You know, we're like a gerbil running around on a wheel in its cage. Feet working furiously, but not getting anywhere. It's like the gerbil, our minds love to be busy. Well, we've got to control this busyness, and we've got to stop the negativity, and we've got to get the information that we need, that we can get rid of, to help us get rid of these worries and these doubts and these fears. Our minds get busy with a sort of self-conscious brainstorming. I think this pattern originates in childhood. As children, we always face new situations, and we risk embarrassment or injury if we didn't respond skillfully, or how others felt we should have responded. How many times have you responded to a situation just because you felt that others expected you to respond that way, and so that's how you did it? As children, we're faced with new situations, and if we don't do things the right way, we faced embarrassment or even injury and stuff, and that's not a good feeling. So we start building up defenses in our mind from this early age. Once we've been embarrassed or we've been hurt, our mind starts trying to help us avoid these patterns and stuff. So if we've been embarrassed before when we tried something, the next time our mind's going to say, wait a minute, stop, think about this for a minute. The last time you tried something crazy like this, think of the embarrassment. So we go, oh, that's right. Never mind. I'm not even going to try this. If we would have just put our foot forward, that could have been what we really needed at that point. If we'd have stepped out of that comfort zone and faced those fears and faced that risk and risked that embarrassment or whatever, that could have been it. But our mind says, wait a minute, stop. Think about the last time. We're always, it seems like we're always going off past experiences. The voice that starts off warning us about potential danger becomes hyper-vigilant and is always looking for dangers or ways to protect you against these feelings of failures or embarrassment. Sometimes it sees it when it's not actually there. So a lot of the times the dangers and stuff that are there, they're really not even there. But our mind is trying to protect us from it. It's warning us. It's like we start to go do something, our mind's going bam, bam, warning, stop. Think about what you're doing and stuff. You don't want to be embarrassed again. You don't want to fail again. Remember how you felt last time you failed. And a lot of times that danger's not even there. So we become mentally vigilant about how we can protect ourselves from feelings of embarrassment or failures because we don't like to be embarrassed. We don't like to fail. So we just try to protect ourselves in any way we can. And our mind just starts working overtime to do that for us. But think of it this way. If you try something and you fail, is that really failure, or is failure really failing to try in the first place? This is kind of what it's like. You've got this great idea, you're ready to go, and all of a sudden, all of these people start shouting into your ear, and you start thinking they're going to think that you are a total loser. You can't do that. You actually think that you're someone that can succeed, and a lot of times this is going on inside your own mind, where you start thinking these things yourself. It's like, man, who am I? Do I think that I can actually succeed at this? Or you start thinking, remember the last time I tried to do that? Or other people are, saying this to you. You're going to totally embarrass yourself if you do that. What's up with that? Who do you think you are to try something like that? You're in way over your head now. What would you do if you actually succeeded anyways? Do you really think you are qualified? It isn't like you're the expert, and that's a big one. A lot of people are going to, I'm not even an expert in my niche, so how am I going to make this work? Immediately our mind starts working. Other people are feeding this negativity into us, and this is what we hear loud and clear. So what happens? We go, oh, what was I thinking? I can't do this. A lot of times it's like, maybe our spouse is like, man, you've been doing this for so long. Do you actually think you're ever going to be able to make money at this? You need to just stop. You just need to give up at this. This isn't something that you're meant to do. And after a while, it's just like that guy's thinking there. It's like, man, what was I thinking? I can't do this. Everybody else is right. What's your excuse? Maybe it's, I can't give up a regular paycheck. Maybe it's invest. You want me to lose all my money, don't you? I don't have any money to invest. Well, I tried that before. It'll never work. I'm not smart enough to do something like that. Come on. My husband would never go for that. Oh, man, I've tried that before. My wife would never understand if I tried to do something like that again. Now, what would my friends say if I fail again? They watched me fail before. What are they going to say if they see me fail again? You know, I'm young. I've still got plenty of time. I'm not going to worry about it now. Or just the opposite. It's too late for me now. I'm in my 60s, 70s. I should have done this when I was younger and stuff. It's too late now. Or I can't do that. Or I wasn't born with a computer attached to my umbilical cord. I hear this from a lot of people all the time. It's like, well, my kids, this is fine for them because they were basically attached with an computer to their umbilical cord. It's easier for the younger generation than it is for me. Well, all of these things, maybe there's some validity to some of these things, but they're just excuses and they keep us from actually taking action. What is the excuse that you have that is keeping you from the success that you so desire? So how do we bring this mind traffic under control? We've been talking about, the damage that it causes. What can we do to bring it under control? We have to begin to create a new belief that includes using conscious, and remember that, conscious, controlled attention as the basis for keeping your mind chatter under control. We really have to begin listening and thinking very consciously of what is going on inside. It's got to be conscious, controlled attention. We have got to bring this to attention. Pain precedes change. You've heard it before. People don't change unless and until they experience enough pain with the way things are. Some say that's the gift of pain. So you've got to basically to be able to change, you've got to get to that place where you have experienced enough pain so that you are ready for the change that it's going to take, because it's going to take some work. So if you've had enough pain, if you've experienced enough pain, then you're going to be ready to move forward. Only then do we say, hey, enough already. Only then do we begin to look for ways and figure out how to think, feel, and act in a different direction. Here's a couple examples. A person doesn't stop eating cookies until the pain of having thunder thighs or living with overweight and the health problems from being overweight is worse than the pain of not downing the Oreos. So when we get past the pain of like, oh man, I can't have that Oreo and stuff, and we get past that, it becomes worse, just being overweight than saying, I can't have that Oreo, then we're ready to change. A man doesn't quit his job until the pain of working for his maniacal boss, which means who is wildly disordered or insane, is greater than the idea of living out of a cardboard box. Now, that'd be kind of a painful situation to be living out of a cardboard box. And you're not going to quit your job until the pain of working for that boss, that, dead-end job, is enough for you to say, I've had enough. I need a change. I need something different. We need an internal support system. First of all, take a deep breath. Not just a breath. Take a deep breath. Calm yourself down. Let your mind become clear. And remember, this is going to be a conscious effort. When you feel yourself getting out of control, your mind filling up with the negativity, take a deep breath, calm yourself down, and let your mind become clear. Just stop thinking about things. Now remember, the thoughts are just thoughts, and worries are just worries. They're not reality yet. That's all they are. They're just thoughts and worries at the moment. They're not reality yet. Think of creating an internal supporter who sits at the committee table. Unlike your critic who's been sitting there all this time, who spends all of his time looking for ways that you're screwing up, this is going to be a voice of encouragement. So when you hear the negativity, you've got to have, think of that, an internal supporter sitting there going, wait a minute, stop. Just stop. You've been here before. You know what to do. Don't listen to those other guys. Don't listen to those other voices and stuff. You've got to this has got to be a conscious effort. You've got to have, get this internal supporter and it's basically going to be you controlling. And every time you hear the negativity, you've got to counteract it with something positive. Begin to use affirmations or sayings that you can say in the face of your negative mind chatter to counteract it. Like, I can do this. So when your mind's saying, you can't do this, yes, I can. I can do this. Maybe I don't understand it right now, but I'll figure it out. I'll be able to get this done. I am good enough. A lot of times the voice is like, man, you're not good enough to do this. This is just not you. Yes, it is. I'm good enough to do this. I'm going to make it happen. God didn't make no junk. My life is worth, to have this financial freedom. My life is worth to have the good things going on in it. You're going to start saying, well, instead of I can't do this, well, how can I make this work? Or I will find a way to get it done. What if we take all that energy used by the mind for just chattering away about what it was or about the fears of the moment and focus all that energy into being what we were created to be and do, which is to live in greatness? Remember that sign where it says, which way we're looking? Do we see the success or failure? If we really focus all that mind chatter and stuff and focus it from the negativity and start focusing on what we were created to be and do, the failure is going to be crossed out. We're not even going to see that direction. All we are going to see is success ahead. You've got to be forgiving of yourself. First of all, let me tell you right now, as you start doing this, you're going to slip up a few times. You're going to go back to those old ways. I mean, they've been ingrained in you for a long time. Now, controlling the negative mind chatter is going to take time, and you're going to slip up along the way. What happens, however, is this. The more you work toward a positive mindset, the more you will be able to sustain it. So the more that you consciously put the effort to taking care of this problem, the more you're going to be able to sustain it. Stop feeding the negative mind chatter, and positive becomes your mindset. Reinforce your positive thoughts with a reward, and this is very, very important. Now, the size of the reward is not the focus here. What you're trying to do is to reward yourself for your daily accomplishments for motivation and encouragement. This is just like with your goal setting. Every time you reach a goal, you should reward yourself. Every time you hear yourself, give yourself a positive... Every time you hear yourself, give yourself a positive thought over top of a negative one. You need to reward yourself. You need to give yourself an attaboy, a job well done. It doesn't matter what you do to reward yourself. If it's treat yourself to ice cream, go out to eat or whatever, just give yourself a pat on the back. It doesn't matter. Recognize that you overcame that negativity with something positive. Watch your language, especially with yourself. The next time you trip up or make a mistake, do your best to listen and really take notice of what you're saying to yourself. Do you find yourself beating yourself up? Like, geez, I'm an idiot. Why do I always do that? We've got to stop that. You've got to turn that around and stuff. Enough of the idiot stuff. Enough of why in the world do I always do this? Like, change it to, it's like, well, okay, that didn't work out so well, so let me try this again. Let's look into maybe doing this a little bit differently, because, everybody said it must work, so we're going to get it going, we're going to figure out a way. Maybe you hear yourself, why is it that every time I try something, I seem to fail? You got to stop that. It's just that you didn't maybe try it in the right way. Whatever is going on in there, stop beating yourself up all the time. You're going to trip up and make mistakes. Just do the best and listen and really take notice of what you're saying to yourself. There's no shame in failing, only in failing to try. When you hear this kind of self-talk, stop right in the middle of your verbal abuse. Pretend that you're talking to a good friend who had just made the same mistake. Now think about this. What would you say to that friend? If you had a friend that just made a big mistake, they're beating themselves up and stuff, and you're sitting there, what would you say to them? You'd probably say something more like this. Hey, it's okay. You did the best that you could. Now it's time to pick yourself up and try again. There's no shame in failing, only failing to try. Now that's something that you would probably say to your friend. Now what needs to happen is when you mess up or you make a mistake, you need to be saying this to you. You need to have people in your life that are saying this to you. So you've got to have supporters. You have to be your number one supporter. It's like, well, did the best that I could, didn't work out, but I'm going to pick myself back up and I'm going to try this again. I didn't fail, because I gave it a try. The ability to take risks is built on how you rebound from your mistakes. If we can't rebound from our mistakes, we're going to stop taking risks. Life is about taking risk. If we want to really get ahead, there's some risk that we've got to take. And if if we just never can rebound from those mistakes, we're never going to find ourselves, being able to pick ourselves back up and trying it again. We're going to just say, the next time a risk comes in, we're going to say, nope, can't do this. No more risks. Surround yourself with positive people. Get rid of the negativity. Truth. Either your relationships are truly supporting you or they are not. The relationships you have in your life are supporting you or they're not. Do not let others hold you down with all their doubts and expectations. You have more strength and potential than anyone could possibly imagine. Now, one is taught by experience to put a premium on those few who can truly appreciate you for what you are. And that was a statement by Gail Godwin. You have so much strength and potential that anybody could even possibly know. And you were created to live in greatness. It's there. You've got to bring it out, and you've got to be living how you were meant to live. We were not meant to live around, having this poor, miserable life and living in poverty and stuff. We were created for greatness. We need to live in that. We've got to get the people in our life that are willing to see that in us and believe in us and speak the positivity into our life. You become who you spend time with, and this is true. Think about the people that you spend your time with. If you were to, let's say you were, this really great person. Everybody's seen you as this really good person, and you changed and you started hanging around gangs or different people that were if they were doing drugs or whatever, and everybody's seen you hanging around with them. Maybe you never even did anything wrong hanging around these people. What are other people going to think about you? They're going to think you're just like them, because we are who we spend time with. There's never been a more important moment in your lifetime than now to take an inventory of the people you surround yourself with. You need to get to a place where you can meet, connect, and create long-standing relationships with harmonically minded people, with people who have and are going to continue to accomplish amazing things. One of the best places that you can do is find offline events that are in your niche and start hanging around these people. Start meeting with them, connecting with them. Maybe it's people, in your circle, they hold webinars and stuff where you can get online for encouragement, maybe Q&As or whatever. You need to start getting to a place where you can start meeting and connecting and creating relationships with the people that like you want to become. These are the types of relationships that are going to encourage and serve you, as opposed to those relationships that ultimately get you nowheres. If people are filling your head with negativity, they're not going to get you anywheres. You need to fill your life with those relationships that are going to encourage and serve you. Get to a place where, you've got other people that are speaking the positive into your life. Get inside the minds of these people who prosper no matter what's going on around them, and to learn the strategies to their success. You've seen it before where it seems like no matter what they do, they just can't fail. You need to get inside of their mind, find out what's going on around them and inside of them, and learn the strategies to their success. If they're successful, what they're doing works, and you need to figure that out. And more than that, you need to figure out their mindset and really figure out what makes them tick, and you need to become like that. Ask for support from others. Listen carefully to the message of those around you. Are they delivering a positive or a negative message to you? Really listen to the people that are around you. If you really make a conscious effort at this, I think you're going to be surprised at what people are actually saying. You're going to notice that there's so much negativity going on in your life, and you're going to go, no wonder I can't ever get anywheres, because this is who I'm hanging around. Don't be afraid to tell those around you what you're striving for and ask for their support. A lot of people just plain don't understand what you're trying to do. Make sure that you explain it to them as clearly as possible. Show them your goals. Show them what you're trying to do. Ask for them to support you through it. Tell them, I'm not going to be able to reach this if you're going to continue with this negativity. And if you're going to continue with it and not support me through this, I'm just going to have to remove you from my life. If it's your spouse, I'm not saying go out and get a divorce and get rid of them and stuff, but you've just got to understand that you've got to stop listening to what's going on, and you've got to remove yourself from those situations. Surrounding yourself with positive people will help you fight off the inner chatter that is negative and that limits your success. So when you start hanging around positive people, you might have this negativity going on, and they're gonna hear you saying these words, and the positive people are gonna start filling your inner chatter with positive thoughts. They're gonna say, wait a minute, stop. You're a great person. You're awesome. You're gonna be able to do this. I have faith in you. You need to really start believing in yourself. If they hear the negativity, they'll start filling your life with the positive. Find a mentor or coach. Yes, you can create a future filled with happiness and contentment in all areas of your life, financially, relationally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can create a future filled with happiness and contentment in all areas of your life. Most people have all the nuts and bolts they need. It's all there. You're all set up for it. Often the difference between the people who achieve this level of total happiness and wealth and those who fall short is simply a lack of direction, a helping hand from a mentor or coach, somebody that's been there, they've done that, they've got the right mindset, and they can help you to help make the changes that you need. Now think about it. Doesn't it simply make sense that you could achieve a whole lot more in your life if you could take advantage of the knowledge, experience, and success of someone who has been there and done that? Now remember, we said without the proper knowledge and stuff, that's when the worries and the fears and stuff all start getting created and sneak in on us and stuff. Well, doesn't it make sense that if you can hang around the people with the knowledge and experience and the success, they've been there, they've done that it's going to start rubbing off on you, and you're going to start learning it from them? You can't make money and excuses at the same time. My entire life changed the moment I gave myself permission to succeed, and that is the honest truth. I already had every excuse in the book of why I wasn't being successful. Even after I found some success, I still had excuses of why I wasn't going to be able to go any further than what I was. I finally gave myself permission to make money instead of more excuses, and here I am today. I'm sitting here coaching and mentoring you. I'm mentoring other people because I finally gave myself permission to make money instead of more excuses. Stop waiting for others to give you permission. I'm giving you permission right now, but it's not going to start with that. It's going to start with you giving yourself permission right now to achieve the success that you desire. If that's financial freedom, give yourself permission to reach that goal. You have unlimited potential inside of you right now. So many people that I meet feel they are so unworthy. They don't see the value that they have to provide to others, and they just see their life as really holding no value at all. I'm here to tell you that you have unlimited potential inside of you right now. Bring it out. Give yourself that permission that you need to start moving forward. Give yourself that permission that you need to start changing that mindset, the way that it's thinking now, and start changing it to a millionaire mindset. No matter what's going on in the world, you have a choice as to what you're going to create in your life. Remember, if you want to be rich, you have to wake up every morning and say, I choose today to be rich. I choose today to do the things that are going to help me become rich. I choose today to do the things that are going to help me reach that financial freedom in my own life. No matter what's going on, I don't care what's going on in your life right now. You might be without a job. You might be, have somebody with you that doesn't believe in you or whatever. I don't care what's going on in your life. You have a choice as to what you're going to create with the rest of your life. And that rest of your life starts right this second. What are you going to choose to do with it? Leave excuses to the old you. It's time to really discover the authentic you. You need to start dropping your defenses and face life as you are. You are who you are. That you're not going to be no different. There's some things that you can change, but you are who you are. You've got different strengths. You've got different weaknesses. You need to start, maybe some of the weaknesses you have to develop a little bit, or maybe you just have to let other people handle that have that strength that complements your weaknesses. But you are who you are. Either you're really stepping up to the plate or you're going to be backing down. Today, you can either step up to the plate or you can back down like you've done so many times before. I say it's time to step up to the plate. Get into that batter's box and let's go for the home run. Give yourself permission to succeed and make money without any limitations whatsoever. Don't put limitations. Don't sit there and say, well, if as long as if I make enough money to do this. No, forget that. Make money without limitations. Give yourself that permission. Give up all the impulses you have to quit right now. And believe in yourself. Either you truly believe in yourself or you don't. It's as simple as that. I don't need to go any farther with that. Either you truly believe in yourself or you don't. What would you dare to dream if you knew that anything was possible? Maybe it's buy your dream home. Send your children to college, to any school they choose, not to just the community or whatever, to any school they choose. Impact global issues like homeless and poverty. Go into business for yourself. Maybe you would retire early. Maybe you would take a year off from work and travel around the world. What is it that you would dare to dream if you knew that anything was possible? I'm here to tell you it's possible. Give yourself permission and go for it. Now, I want you to come closer and pay attention because most of the truly successful people are not any smarter than you. They're not any more gifted than you. Maybe they have different strengths than you do, but they have weaknesses too. They're not any luckier than you, and they don't work any harder than you. Here is the secret. The reason they have what they have is because they have a different mindset than what you have. Now imagine for a moment this is your life, fulfilling and complete in every single area. Every direction you look, you're firing on all cylinders and in complete harmony, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, and relationships. What would that be worth to you? To me, it would be immeasurable. Well, let me tell you a secret. Contrary to popular belief, it's not that hard to achieve. You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves. It's going to take some work on your part. Trust me. You've got to be able to just roll up those sleeves and get yourself moving, because knowledge without action is a total waste of time. I can give you all the training. You can read all the books. You can go to all the webinars, seminars, whatever that you want, and get all the knowledge you want. But without taking action on the knowledge that you learn, it's a total waste of your time to even show up to the training. It's a total waste of your time to even get the knowledge. The bottom line is this: the right mindset will help you create amazing results in your life. In fact, I absolutely guarantee you, you get the right mindset, and I guarantee you, you're going to see yourself creating some amazing results in your life. It's going to take some commitment, and it's going to take some work on your part. I know you hate that word work, but it's going to take some work on your part. If you just want to sit on your duff and listen, then nothing is going to happen for you. Now, how is your mindset right now? Can you or can't you? You're the one that's in control. Begin fresh with a new way of thinking. I can get it done. I will get it done. And most important, I will find a way. If you say that you can't, you are absolutely right. You can't. You need to stop right now concentrating on all the things you can't do or your weaknesses and start focusing on what you are strong in and the virtues that you hold so dear. If you accept this voice that keeps saying I can't and keeps setting you up for failure before you even start to achieve the success you desire and deserve. So basically, if you accept this voice that keeps saying I can't, you're going to be setting yourself up for failure, and you're going to continue to set yourself up for failure over and over and over, and you're never going to achieve that success that you desire, and again I say, and deserve. Why do you want financial success? You're going to have to ask yourself two important questions. The first one is, why do you want financial success, and what is the reward of your success? You need to understand why you want it, and what is the reward that you're going to be rewarded when you get this success. The second question you need to know is, what are the consequences if you fail? What kind of consequences are there going to be if you fail? You know, if you fail at this, are you going to basically lose everything that you have now? So maybe you're sitting at that point right now where if you try this, you possibly have the chance of gaining that financial freedom and keeping your house, getting your kids to college, whatever. But if you don't, nobody's going to college. you're losing that home or whatever, if you're at that point where you need to ask yourself, what happens if I succeed? What happens if I fail? What are those consequences of each and the rewards? Pain precedes change. Remember that. You don't change unless they've experienced the enough pain with the way things are. Only then do we say, hey, enough already. Only then do we begin to look for ways to figure out how to think, feel, and act in a different direction. I ask you again, have you had enough yet? If not, well, continue on in your ways. But if you had enough, it's time for change, because pain precedes change. My wish for you is that you create $1 million, and that also you create $1 million lifestyle in the process. What's $1 million lifestyle? It's having financial abundance with ultimate peace of mind, truly connected relationships, optimum health and fitness, and a spiritual connection beyond description. To me, that sounds pretty awesome right there. Think about that for a second. That's $1 million lifestyle. This is the kind of wealth that you deserve. Then and only then you can truly say that you're wealthy. Are you with me on this? Think about those things up there. That ultimate peace of mind, truly connected relationships, optimum health and fitness. And you stop and think about this. Well, what's health and fitness got to do with it? Well, you get all excited about something and all of a sudden your health goes downhill. What happens then? Your spiritual connection, all of these things. Think about those things for a minute. Living a life where all of these are firing on the right cylinders, and it's just life is going great. This is when you truly can say that you're wealthy. It isn't just about the money. It's when everything is worked together, and yes, the money's there, and you've reached that financial freedom. You see, you can go after just the money, and you might get rich, but does that guarantee you will be wealthy? I'm pretty sure that you believe that that's not the case. You've got to have the $1 million, to have that $1 million lifestyle. You got to have not only $1 million, but you've got to have the right mindset also. You need more than that. You need $1 million lifestyle. It's not just about the money. You need that $1 million lifestyle that we just described up top.